Hi and welcome to episode 3 in my series about knitting stranded colorwork. In this episode I would like to talk about how to get an even result and how to make your pattern look even. And there are 3 things that I focus on when I knit pattern. One of them I spoke about in episode 2, and that was how I place the yarn on my finger and how I always keep the same color in the same place all the time. And just to sum it up, here I have knitted with my pattern color, because now I have a dark background and I make my pattern with the lighter color. So for this bit here I have used the pattern color closest to me and the main color away from me, and I changed here. And from there I have kept the main color closest to me and the pattern color away from me. And what you can see is that the stitches here, the pattern stitches, they look longer and bigger than they do here. And here you can actually also see where I have changed. You can see that there are some difference in this row. So if you were to change the placement on the yarns on your finger all the time, you would get small and big pattern stitches just here and there, and it would look very uneven. So that is the first thing you have to think about, that always keep the same color in the same place. And after that there are 2 more things that I focus about, and they are connected, and that is to keep equal tension on both yarns when knitting. And that is just a matter of practice, and that you must learn to feel when you tighten your grip and hold the yarn too tight, and when you lose it, so that you don't have enough tension. And the third thing is that the yarn floats on the wrong side. They also need to have the right tension, and it must be loose enough to enable some stretch, but tight enough to stay close to the work and not sag, make loops like this. If you have that kind of loop, let me just try and show you, then it will be a problem when you get there. That it's just, if I had a loop here, when I pick up this stitch, it's easy to stretch it and make it really big. So tension is essential. And I will also make another example. I'll just knit for a while, and I will not do anything but knitting my stitches, and that is all I focus on. And when I look here now, when I stretch it, you can see that these stitches, they are gathered together, and I have longer gaps there, so that means it's too tight, and it will also be a bit, I'll have to work a bit to stretch it. So if I discover this fast, I can pull a bit just to fix what I just did. And there you can see now it's more relaxed. And I try to check so that when I move this and when it is relaxed, I can see that it fits the pattern below. And to avoid this happening in the first place, I usually knit a few stitches. Here I have made some examples earlier where it's far too loose on the wrong side, and here you can see that this will be easy to catch a finger in, and you can also see that it makes it difficult to get an even stitch size. But what I do is that I knit a few stitches, then I slightly pull, just checking, and then I look at the wrong side, that when I'm satisfied with how it looks on the right side, I check to see if the yarn floats are close to my work and relaxed, not sagging and not pulled. If I pull this real hard, you can see I can gather the stitches quite a lot, and you will get a result that is wavy. It'll look like waves. And I also have demonstrated what will happen if you have two saggy yarn floats and somebody catches a finger in it. And this is a very good reason not to have saggy yarn floats. Now I have managed to get hold of one, and I pull, and I have actually ruined my pattern. And this will be a lot of work to fix, and it will probably never look the same again. So check a lot, especially if you're not used to this. Check that the yarn floats are relaxed but close to the knitwear, and at the other end not too tight. And you check this by slightly stretching. Now I had changed my colors. Fix that before I do any more harm. And it would be the same if I knitted pattern with several stitches in each color before the color change. I prefer this over knitting too loose, because then I would have to tighten it all the time. It's easier, I find, to just knit and then stretch it as I go before I attach my yarn float, and then you will see that it looks okay on the wrong side. But what happens if I need to knit a lot of stitches before I change color? This yarn float will be very long and easy even for adults to catch a finger in. So when I have control over the other three things that I was talking about, and that was placement of the yarn, equal tension, and checking the yarn floats, then I need to find a way to attach this along the way so that it doesn't make too many traps on the wrong side. And this will also make the next stitch potentially very loose, and that way also make the pattern look uneven. So in the next episode I will talk about how to avoid these long yarn floats on the wrong side. And for this episode, which is close to the end, the most important thing is to take time, relax, check the wrong side. It should look as even on the wrong side as it should on the right side. If you are knitting the same pattern and you see that it looks different, like this, more of the dark color here than here, then you are probably changing the placement of your yarn. If the yarn looks like this on the wrong side, or the pattern looks very pinched together on the right side, you are probably pulling the yarn floats too tight. And if your stitches get uneven size all the time and you have checked that it is none of those, you are probably knitting with uneven tension here. But this will often also be visible in different lengths and different tension on the yarn floats. But that's it for now, and thank you for watching.